This is Shir number 10 in our series on Avodas Habitachon. Today, we are going to explain a very important foundation, that there's a difference between the actual method and midah of Bitachon, and the result and reward that comes from it. Bitachon is one of those mitzvahs where there's a matan schar b'tzida, a reward alongside it. While the true reward for any mitzvah is in Olam Haba, in the world to come, there are certain mitzvahs where a promise and reward are also given in Olam Haza, in this world, similar to Meiser, where there is an Habitachon, an assurance that you will always be able to give more Meiser. So too with Bitachon, there's a promise, Chesed Yisevevenu, kindness surrounding the person. Clarifying the Chazon Ish's position. The Chazon Ish was never saying it is a mistake to believe there is reward for a person's Bitachon. Rather, he was clarifying that the definition of Bitachon is surrendering oneself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Logic versus assumption. It does not mean always assuming the good will happen as you perceive it. It is not logical to say the Torah commands to be Baiteach this way, because there is still judgment, mishpat, and punishment din in the world for the wrong that people do. How would that possibly be the midah of Bitachon? A part of the mitzvah of Tamim Tiyeh is knowing that nothing is mikra, nothing's by chance. Everything comes from Hashem's hashgacha. You are not subjugated to nature. Whatever Hashem wants is what happens. That is the midas Habitachon. That is why the same Rishonim that are discussing reward of Bitachon, that a person will be successful, he will be saved. When they discuss what Bitachon is, they say explicitly, it means the knowledge that everything is bidei Shemayim. And in fact, Rabbeinu Yoina on Mishlei Perek Gimel Pasuk Chavav actually brings the whole inyan of Tamimis that we're discussing before. And there's a very fundamental midrash in Shir Hashirim, Rabba Perek Zayin Ois Ches, that it says by the story of Chananya, Mishael, and Azariah, that if they had thrown themselves into the kitchen of Aish, assuming that they would be saved, they would not have been saved. That would not be Midas Habitachon. They were only saved because they surrendered themselves to death, Moiser Atzmosam Misa, and walked with tamimis, with wholeness. This is derived from the verse Hoylech Batoim Yelech Betach. One who walks with integrity walks securely. The Sefer Yefei Koil explains that if they had acted on the condition that Hashem perform a miracle, no miracle would have occurred. This is proven by Haran, Avraham Avinu's brother, who was not saved, and this is explicit in that somebody who is Baiteach Yeshua, that's not called being Baiteach, and you don't have all the special word of Bitachon. Someone who walked with Tamimis, he subjects himself to whatever Hashem does. For me, is a teva. You're not only relying on Hashem just to get good result. You're being hoidech with Tamimis. Then you fulfill the midas Habitachon. The mitzvah of Bitachon. The midas Habitachon, and now you'll be able to access the reward of Bitachon. To further strengthen this point, we look at another source in the Yalkut on Tehillim, Tufshin Yodalid, which writes, Ata moitzi shekol mish b'teach HaKadosh Baruch Hu matziloi. You find that whoever trusts in the Holy One, blesses He saves him. The Medrash illustrates this with an example in the Torah of somebody relying on Hashem as being saved, referencing Yeshaya Perek Nun, Pasuk Yud, Yiftach b'Hashem, b'Shem Hashem, v'Yishoyin b'Elikov. Let him trust in the name of Hashem and rely on his God. When asking for proof, the Midrash points to the fact that Chananya, Mishael, and Azariah badchu bo hitzel oisam, that they trusted in him and he saved them. However, we must add a very important foundation to this. Once a person has been hoylech b'tamimis, walking in wholeheartedness, and has fulfilled the mitzvah and midah of bitachon in the proper way, it is then permitted for them to be mekaveh, hoping for a good outcome as a reward for the mitzvah. This is explicit in the words of Rabbeinu Yoina, Perek Gimel Pasuk Chavav, stating that midoisev zecharei shamor v'or zeru aloi The reward of his traits is guarded and light is sown for him, and he anticipates and hopes also the fruits of his actions in this world. A person is indeed allowed to sit and hope for the peiros, fruits, results, and the reward for their bitachon. This state is defined v'hu v'tikva atzula min habitachon, and it is an expectation and a hope derived from bitachon, representing tocheles, anticipation, and tikva, hope, that are traits naturally taken from bitachon. Since bitachon is the conviction that kol ma da'av rachman l'tavavid, everything that the merciful one does is for the good, and immediate hoping and wishing for that schar is a natural extension of that reliance, as noted in Pasuk Beis. Another example of techeles atzulim min habitachon is seen when someone says, "Sela zu letzedakah b'shvil sheyichve b'ni." This coin is for tzedakah so that my son shall live, as mentioned in Masechtas Pesachim Ches Amud Aleph. Or a meiser b'shvil shetis aser. Someone's giving tzedakah so they should be able to give more tzedakah. This reinforces the idea that there are certain mitzvahs and midas in the Torah where the schar, the reward, is betzida at its side. In this matter, we find profound words in the Poskim, specifically in the Pirsha, in Yeridea, Simin Kuf Ayin Tes. He explains when you read Mizmorim, Tehillim, such as during Kriya Shema Alamita, you are oisik b'mitzvahs hamakam, engaging in the commandment of the omnipresent. These Mizmorim specifically speak about Hashem. Hashem saves the boitchim boy, to those who rely on Him. The Parisha teaches that the intention of a person reading should be al yedei zeh yatzilehu Hashem b'schar hamitzvah b'schar bitachon. Through this, Hashem shall save him in the merit of the mitzvah and in the merit of bitachon. By reading with this mindset, you are actively seeking to be saved as a reward of midas bitachon. You are shabayteach b'Hashem shematzah merafe le'irei, relying on Hashem who saves and heals those who fear Him. And the promise is mekuyim l'shiyasai umatzileu. Those who hope for His salvation, He saves them. Therefore, it is gam kein mutar mitzvah asis kein. It's permitted and as a mitzvah to do so. You are encouraged to read these mizmorim, these tehillim with this specific intention. This explicitly confirms the foundation. There are two distinct parts of midas habitachon: the midah itself and the reward that results from it. And it's permissible to maintain that mindset as you rely on Hashem. To further strengthen this we can look at the topic of testing HaKadosh Baruch Hu. While it's generally asur l'nasos es Hashem, it's forbidden to test Hashem by performing a mitzvah on a condition for a specific result, meiser is a notable exception. The Chovos Avodas explains that realizing the concept of anuni gam bezois, test me in this regarding meiser, taking meiser with the intent of b'shvil shetis aser, in order to become wealthy or give more meiser, which will be a test for Hashem. But this we can derive a beautiful interpretation for bitachon, which is also which also is a matan schar b'tzida. The reward is alongside it. As long as a person maintains the correct reliance by giving themselves over to Hashem and knowing that everything is l'tova, for His good, they can also be mitzapeh, look forward to the reward, much like one who takes meiser. Have a great night.